2017 could be uneasy for China surrounding the new US President Donald Trump's administration. Is a China-US trade war imminent? Is China still attractive for foreign investors? And will the renminbi depreciate or appreciate? Joining me to discuss all of these questions are an extinguished panel. Let me introduce them to you. They are Claire Pearson, Chairman of the British Chamber of Commerce in China; Michele Geracci, Head of the China Economic Policy Program from the University of Nottingham; Ningbo, China; Tim Stratford, partner of Covington and Berlin LLP; Charles Liu, founder of How Capital; Xiang Songzuo, Deputy Director from Renmin University's International Monetary Institute; and David Wu, PwC China's Beijing Senior Partner. And the topic that's coming up is China's currency and the internationalization of the renminbi. Now, the Chinese renminbi has been included in the special drawing rights basket of the International Monetary Fund that came into effect last year. Let's take a look at this. Now, one view holds that the renminbi's inclusion in the SDR basket will bring a fresh wave of renminbi depreciation. Others argue that the Chinese currency may be poised for appreciation, as US President Donald Trump has been accusing China of the biggest currency manipulator. Is the renminbi going to be more expensive or less expensive? What side of the fence are you on? Yes.
Well, I've said this before, the inclusion of the renminbi into the SDR basket is something of no importance whatsoever. Just to make it clear.
So we were happy about nothing.
Of course, yes. We have had euro, yen, pounds, and dollars in the basket. And if you know anyone who has been able to predict the appreciation or depreciation of those four currencies just on the basis that they were included in the SDR basket for the last several years, please let me know. Because no one can do that. The basket is $250, $300 billion that has been used only in very rare situations. The renminbi would be 10, 11%. So we're talking 20 billion, really nothing. And so it's just a formality. And in a way, countries should be very, very careful to make their own currency international, because it creates lots of problems.
Is that the risk China is facing at this moment? I mean, the internationalization. That's why maybe we're not talking about it so much recently, Mr. Xiang.
Well, Chinese officials, to my knowledge, never use internationalization of RMB. They talk about international use of a cross-border use of currency, which means, I think, in their mind, majorly is a trade settlement by RMB. So by the end of last year, RMB settlement of a total Chinese trade, export, imports, almost one-third. Almost, it's, I think, exact figure is 27%. So, and in this sense, RMB has already the second most important trade currency. But in terms of financial transaction settlements, RMB now is number 4 or number 5, following dollar, euro, sterling pound, and the Japanese yen.
And the Canadian dollar, after the Canadian dollar as well.
No, not Canadian dollar. So
I
think
that's
a natural development because of the rising share of Chinese trade among the world trade. And many countries are willing to settle at least part of their trade with China by RMB. But for financial sides, very complicated. You know, now so far China has not realized the capital account liberalization. So
even the statistics on trade, if we look at it again, the usage of renminbi for trade settlement has peaked in January 2016, just at the time. And then it declined since then. Now, I know it's a coincidence, but this peak occurred at the same time when the IMF granted the right to China to enter the SDR basket. And it had, since 2014, always gone up, almost, I know it's a coincidence, as a tool to help the negotiation. And then it peaked. Since then, the usage of renminbi for international trade settlement has gone down.
Eventually, the international use of renminbi is the eventual aim, or is that the long-term goal?
Why should it be?
I don't think the government has set up a goal or aim to net currency become a
That
real
is like
international
almost
currency.
associated with China's international status, you know,
Well,
the renminbi being the
Face is
international
more
reserve
important
currency.
than that.
But for
That's just for face. Ultimately, any currency to become dominant on a global basis takes generations. RMB has only come on the scene for a few decades. And that's number one. Number two, I think what's more important is, as Professor Xiang said, the trade settlement is one aspect. But what we see, for example, with UnionPay cards, credit cards, are being used everywhere, all over the world. I go anywhere in Europe, I can use it. And even WeChat payment or Alipay all over Southeast Asia. So in a way, the cross-border transactions in RMB is far more substantial than what official figures would indicate.
I agree.
And that is important. It's just a question, what is currency? Currency is just a means of facilitating a transaction. It's a payment. As long as on the trade side and consumption side, it can be easily facilitated, that's it.
David.
Currency is a mean of payment, but currency is also a very, very important mean of confidence. Therefore, the world requires a stable and a responsible currency. And China, we have a long way to go to that goal. But including China in the international trading system and in the international monetary system as the SDR is a good and a welcome gesture, so that China will reform its financial system, prepare itself for the currency to be used more. Yes, for trading, and as a content, we want other people book their assets and liabilities in the renminbi. Once they go to that direction, then the confidence in the currency is evidenced. And then that really means we need to have a high standard governance of the financial system and the economy. So that is an important indicator for the financial reform.